Hello chess friends and welcome to Azarov's chess channel and welcome to my Chess Unites the World series. So in this series you can publish one of your own games and then analyze it and publish it on my YouTube chess channel, and you can send me maybe some questions about your problematic openings. You can ask me some if you have troubles maybe with rook endings, pawn endings, maybe with some middle game strategy, and I'll try to help you through these videos. So a couple of weeks ago I got a very nice email from my subscriber Viral Chotai from India, and he sent me one of his games, and he wanted the game to be analyzed, and of course let's help our very good subscriber from India. So when I watched the game, okay, there were many mistakes, and I don't want to be harsh on Viral Chotai. It's not a problem. I also make mistakes. We also make mistakes. But the more important thing is when you play chess, you want to get use of your pieces. So there are these positions, and I think I can help Viral with this modern defense that he played here. And today we watched the game in the modern defense. There are these useful tricks, how you should play with your pieces in such openings. So let's see now. E4, and Viral responded here with G6, and now knight on F3. We have bishop on G7, and now bishop on C4. Okay, D6, and now castling. And now you see, Viral, your opponent haven't played correctly the opening. He didn't play the d4 move. The d4 move is really important because it prevents e5. So now you had the possibility to play the move e5 immediately. So maybe rook on e1 is an idea, but now we can play c3, knight on e7, and after c3 we can simply castle. After d4 we can simply play a little bit compact here and search for our idea to play the move f5. So because your opponent didn't play the opening correctly, you had also maybe knight on b6 ideas, and then after that bishop on g4. So that's only possible because you see this c3 d4 setup is not good because the knight cannot jump out here. In this variation, maybe after d4 you can again play knight on d7, and if your opponent then fixes the position, then we have this sort of King's Indian setup, which you have searched in the game, and when I analyzed the game, then the position got fixed, and then you created this common King's Indian attack, which was really good, I think, and this is how you should play in such setup. That's only possible when the position in the center gets fixed, so it means when these two pawns on d6 and e5, and here on e4 and d5 get really fixed, and we get sort of a static position, then this f5 breakthrough is possible. So in the continuation, after d6 and castling, knight on f6, we have knight on c3, and now castling. Now after d4, here we had a tactical shot. We could have played knight takes on e4. We have maybe bishop on f7 and then rook on f7. If you see knight takes on e4 and knight takes on e4, then you have d5, and it leads really to simplification because after bishop on d3 we have d takes e4, bishop takes e4, and we can maybe play c6, bishop on g4, and then after that knight on d7 with possibilities to create a breakthrough on e5. So these are the main ideas after d4. Well, and now we come to this problem. The problem is that when we play against e4, we cannot play the King's Indian. So after e5, your opponent could have played here after d4, pardon me, we have the possibility to take here d takes e5, and then after that d takes e5, queen takes on d8, queen takes on d8, knight on e5, and if you play knight on e4, then you get bishop on f7. So it leads also to this line in which you lost simply a pawn, and of course with the queens off the board, this would be, I think, a winning game for white here. So you have to be careful with this e5 move because bishop on c4 prevents this move because we have this attack here on f7. So okay, now we have d5 by Viral's opponent, and now bishop on g4. We have bishop on g5 and bishop takes on f3. So this bishop takes on f3, okay, it leads also to simplifications, but you see this bishop could have stayed longer a little bit here, because it's white has at least to play maybe with the queen on e2, or maybe queen on e3, then to unpin his queen, or maybe put the bishop back on e2 in order to create this firm structure here around this knight on f3. So this is now bishop on f3 is not so good, because you didn't even get challenged here with h3. Then maybe f3 could have been an idea. But when you have this King's Indian setup, as I talked about here with these 3 pawns, of course we see you see we have this direction. We have the possibility to play f5, and you don't want to give up your like square bishop here, because you see your like square bishop is one of the best pieces in such King's Indian setups, and you don't want to get you don't want to give up it so early, because this bishop is the best piece on the board. And I've prepared a position for you in which I showed it similar now to your game, and we have now always the possibility to create this bishop sacrifice on h3. So this is the main tactical idea in King's Indian setups. And after knight on c8 here, we have a top grandmaster game here. g4 was played, and this was now completely winning here for black, because you see we have a perfect domination here on the g file. Rook on h7 was played after that, and white was completely lost, although we gave up the bishop. So I hope you realize that giving up the bishop is not so good in this early stage of the game. At least you could have waited till your opponent plays h3, just challenging, then maybe bishop takes on f3 and try to get the position closed. But okay, bishop takes on bishop on g5, bishop takes on f3, and we have now queen takes on f3, h6, h4, and now g5. Very good, which is now really blocking out the bishop. The bishop is now on g3 out of game, and this is good. We have knight on d7, it's a very good development, and now knight on c5. Here white had the possibility to play b4. You see, you were forced to play the move the knight again on d7, so this is not good. At least you should have prepared it with the move a5. These are also this common blocking system ideas on the queen side. Then after that we can play knight on c5 and even play the a4 move. Okay, you didn't play it in that move, but I've seen in the game you've played it after that and created this blocking system. So knight on c5, we have a3, and now a5 again. White can play here b4 and kick out your knight here. So here rook on b1 was played, and now a4. This is very good. I see Viral is really familiar with this blocking system and with blocking systems ideas in the King's Indian, and also with his common attacks here. But of course we have to be careful. You see, now we would have really loved to have this like square bishop here on g4. So as I said, don't give up the like square bishop too early, because it could be one of your best pieces on the board. So now queen on e2 was played. Now we have queen on e7, which is very good. Connecting the rooks is an important principle in openings. So here f3, and now Viral uses very good this f3 move, because the queen is not attacking anymore this h5. Now we can really fix the knight here on f4, and this knight is hard to kick away here on f4. Basically white would be forced to give up his very good bishop here on g3 for this knight. So here bishop on f2 was played, and now knight on f4 attacking the queen, knight on d2, and now very good b6. This b6 is very good because it really creates together with this pawn structure, and this pawn and this rook are really firm blocking system on the queen side. So of course we have again this opposite side attack in which we are trying as black to create an attack on the f-file here, of course, on the king side. Meanwhile, white would try his attack on the queen side. These are this opposite side attacks. I love really those types of games because they're always fun to watch. And now in the continuation, knight on g5 was played. Now this knight is also fixed because it's also hard to attack here, and here h5. Very good, I think. You see Viral is really familiar with his King's Indian attacks, with his King's Indian blocking systems, so that's good. I think you can continue from this point on, but be careful with the use of your pieces because you don't want to get lost in an early stage of the game. At least we could have now, if we would have now have the light square bishop, this would be a perfect position for black. So here b4 was played. We have a takes b3 and now c takes b3. Very good. Now g4. We are opening some we are really playing fast here on the king side. We want to be faster than white here, and of course you should play in this style, in this King's Indian similar styles, and in this opposite side attacks. We have f takes g4, h takes g4, now queen on e3, now bishop on h6, which is very good. Now the bishop can go maybe here on g5 and h4, so very good maneuver by the bishop. Queen on g3, and now also very good move, king on h7. Now we don't mind even if the queen takes here, because we have then opened the g file, and again we are stronger and faster on the attack. That is how you should play. Sometimes it's even good to give up a pawn. Very good, because we have a very fixed position, which I like, with this knight on f4. We are created this very annoying knight on f4, and I really like his position now here. So here queen on g4, rook on g8. But okay, your opponent shouldn't take this pawn. He could have played maybe again maybe queen on c3 here, but again rook on g8, and then maybe even just to push the pawn on g3, even in some occasions maybe just sacrifice the rook. These are these tactical battles, and of course we don't evaluate now the pieces just simply like they're worth maybe some points. We evaluate the pieces of their activity, and now the rook after queen takes on g4 comes very good into the game. Now we have this target on g2. Very good here. Queen on f5 with a check, king on h8, and now bishop on g3. Now Viral managed to trap his opponent's queen, because the queen got really greedy here. It went here on this very annoying square on f5. Very good. Bishop takes on f4. We have queen, rook takes the queen on f5. E takes f5, and now bishop on f4. So now we have a really deadly attack here. We can bring again the rook here on g file, queen on h4. Very good tactical ideas here. Now the knight in some occasions can maybe after e4 jump here on d3. So perfect coordination here by the pieces now. Although of course we have the queen for the rook, but at least we have again some attacking possibilities. So here b4, now queen on h4, now g3, and now of course bishop takes on g3. Very good, because we don't mind to give up our bishop here, and because the queen can come now really actively into the game. King on f1, and of course rook on g8. We have king on e2, and now queen on g2, and in this position white resign, because we have also possibilities to play with our knight here, maybe on c3, maybe after that the rook can come into the game. So this is now of course a completely winning game for black. So okay, let's see now for Viral some opening lines in the modern defense. After maybe d4 is the most common move in these types of lines. Of course, after bishop on g7, maybe knight on c3, then we can play d6, and in this lines, okay, we can play knight on f6, bishop on e3, and now there is this early flank attack possibility with a6. If your opponent plays now a4, it means that he has already weakened his queen side and won't probably castle queen side anymore. So that's good, because after castling and maybe bishop on e2, we can play maybe knight from b to d7, and now white is forced to castle king side here. So that's good, because now we don't have this common attacks with queen on d2 and some trade of the bishops on h6 and similar ideas in this opposite side attacks, which could be really deadly for black here. So now we search simply for maybe e5 ideas to get a breakthrough. If d takes e5, we can play knight takes on e5, and it leads really to simplifications. You have equalized the position in an early stage of the game. So if the position gets fixed with moves as d5, then you know what you should do. Then we have this standard King's Indian attack, because the position is fixed. Now we can play maybe knight on h5, knight on f4, f5, knight on f6, similar ideas. And of course, I just want you to remember that this bishop is aiming on h3, and we need it on the attack. After this position gets fixed, this is now our main and the best piece on the board, and we don't want to get lost. So there are also these lines in which you also give up your rook maybe for this light square bishop just in order to keep this bishop on the board, because you see in this types of setup it will be simply your best piece. Now the common attack is h6, maybe f5 here. H6 prevents knight on g5 and knight on e6 ideas, so we can play here simply slowly, positionally, and attack the castle king here for white. So okay, Viral, I hope I could have helped you with this video. Don't forget, you cannot play the King's Indian setup always while playing against e4. I've made those types of mistakes also when I played chess, so I wanted to position to be exactly the same and familiar to me, and I wanted to continue from that point on, where I know how I should continue. But that's not always possible. That's why there are so many opening lines, many openings basically for black and for white. So as I said, you cannot play the King's Indian against e4. Okay, guys, you can do the same. You can send me also some of your PGNs. You can also send me maybe some questions if you have troubles while playing against a particular opening, or you have troubles maybe with some endings or middle games. And you can also watch, of course, my other Chess Unites the World videos from the series. You can also watch my chess tactics and chess puzzles if you want to have better knowledge about all of the possible tactical motifs that can happen in a chess game. And you can also subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Chess is the best.